Hello everybody, it's Fufu here, and I'm back for another Why You Should Use. Today I will be considering Gumshoos with John, which is one Pokemon that you can find really early on in the game, and we're going to see how we can use it to its best ability. But that's not the only early route Pokemon that we're considering today, is it, John?
No, it is not. We are also going to be talking about the early route bird Pokemon Toucan. It's a really cool Pokemon, very unique. I'm very excited to talk about that, but first we gotta go over Mr. Gumshoos.
Design.
Now, I can't really talk about this Pokemon without talking about its similarity to one certain president-elect in the United States. Yeah, this Pokemon looks a lot like Donald Trump, and it's kind of hard to think that this might be accidental. I mean, it could well be, but it's just so similar, it's kind of weird. Also, it's kind of scary with those big teeth, and it looks very wise the way it's just waiting there patiently, considering life.
Beyond its scary resemblance to Trump, it also adores having Rattata and Raticate for dinner. But as it's diurnal, it never encounters them. Kinda terrifying to me, and I don't really know the point of talking about how it likes to eat those Pokemon, but then it never encounters them. It's a very strange Pokemon in general, and it's just gonna get weirder.
Typing and stats.
Gumshoos is pure normal typing, so there's not too much to say here. It doesn't have many weaknesses, but it doesn't hit anything super effectively either, and it doesn't have many resistances either, so it's just normal typing, really.
Looking at its stats, there's not too much to be excited about. 88 HP is actually probably above average and pretty decent, and 110 attack is really, really good. Beyond that, though, 60 defense, 55 special attacks, 60 special defense, and 45 speed. Nothing too exciting. The HP kind of makes up for its lower defenses, but in general, the only thing to really be excited about is its 110 attack, and thankfully, it does have some abilities to go along with that.
Ability.
Gumshoos has three really interesting abilities on the face of it, and its first one is its signature ability that is really cool. That is Stakeout. What this does is it doubles the damage dealt to the target's replacement if it switches out. So if the opponent switches Pokemon, the incoming Pokemon will be hit twice as hard. So that can be really good for a avenging Pokemon. You either can take out the Pokemon in front of you, or your opponent has to make the really hard decision of switching out into something else, which will take a massive hit. So that is really nice. Its other abilities are Strong Jaw, which increases the power of biting moves by 50%, which is really nice, and it looks like it's got those powerful biting attacks, but actually it only gets one biting attack, so that's a bit underwhelming really. And then the final one is Adaptability, and this is really nice as well. Again, it's a power boosting attack, so you get Stab change from 1.5 times power boost to a 2 times power boost, but this will only be working on normal type attacks for this Pokemon. So though your normal type attacks will be getting a boost, it doesn't really affect too much. It can be very strong though, and I'd say the two abilities that you would consider most of the time would be Stakeout and Adaptability. Maybe Strong Jaw for that one coverage move, but maybe not. We'll consider that as we go into the notable moves.
Moves.
While Gumshoos does not get a signature move, it does get two really solid physical normal type moves that are boosted by its two abilities respectively. Return and Hyper Fang are both actually boosted by adaptability, but you're probably going to want to use Return with adaptability and Hyper Fang with Strong Jaw. They're both going to get boosted with that, and what is cool with Strong Jaw is you can have Hyper Fang and Crunch. They will both get boosted, and that could be pretty nice, but you could also just use Return with adaptability for that extra power. Really nice coverage to go along with both of those options is Earthquake. Any physical attacker with Earthquake is just pretty happy. It's a really, really nice coverage move, and it is nice to see Gumshoos have that because after all of those moves, the only move that really matters physically wise is U-Turn. So the 4 moves you're going to probably, you'll have 3 moves and then one of the 2 normal types, with Return, Earthquake, Crunch, U-Turn, or Hyper Fang, Earthquake, Crunch, U-Turn. You can also throw Super Fang on there. A lot of the weaker beginning route Pokemon have Super Fang. It just cuts the opponent's HP in half every time you use it, so that actually can be really, really useful. And Roar and Taunt are worth noting. You're probably not going to see a lot of those at all. Maybe you'll see Taunt a little bit, but it is really slow, and probably not Roar, but maybe if it's a bulkier set. Either way, it does have some options which are pretty decent, but just not a ton of notable moves in general.
Set idea.
So for this Gumshoos set, I think the best way to use it would potentially be a Trick Room attacker, because it is quite slow, but it can hit hard when given the opportunity, and it's also a bit risky to rely on those low defenses, so I thought that avoiding being hit by attacks, the best way to do that would be putting it in a Trick Room team. So here we've given it a Life Orb and also the Stakeout ability, so that you can threaten opposing Pokemon, make them switch out, and then hit whatever comes in super hard. The nature's going to be Brave. Obviously you want to boost that attack, but you want to be as slow as possible in Trick Room. And then the EVs are just max HP and max attack. So you should be able to take some hits with that max HP, but the main thing is just boosting that attack as much as possible. The moves are going to be Return and Earthquake, which have generally quite good coverage. Return hitting very hard because it's Stab, and Earthquake hitting those things that resist the return, so that's quite nice. Crunch is also good for hitting ghost types. There are a few levitating ghost types, so Crunch will be able to hit them if Return and Earthquake can't. And the final move there is going to be U-Turn. This will help in a Trick Room team, because once Gumshoos has done as much as it can and Trick Room's about to run out, you can U-Turn into your Trick Room setter and get that Trick Room right back up again. So that can work quite nicely as a set. But there are some other options, aren't there, John?
Yes, there are, and the one that I actually really like is something that a lot of people might be a little skeptical on, but trust me, a Choice Scarf set would actually work. This thing is so slow that no one will ever expect a Choice Scarf set. You'll be able to outspeed a good amount of things, actually. And, if they're not ready for it, you can get a surprise kill. And also with Stakeout, if they switch out, you're going to get the extra damage anyway. So, either way, you could force a switch potentially when they actually figure out your Choice Scarf, get a surprise kill, and it can be really nice to go along with its 110 attack. You might also want to go maybe more Choice Band or bulky with Super Fang, but in general, probably like the Trick Room set's going to be really nice, but kind of more of an offensive set. I really like Choice Scarf. Try it out, people. Trust me, you may love it.
So there we go, that is our take on Gumshoos. I hope you enjoyed it, and please try out this Pokemon, because it's got some really funky abilities that are worth a look, even if it's just for the ability's sake. It's not the only early route normal type Pokemon that we've looked at though, so please check out John's video all about Toucannon, very cool birdie Pokemon. All that's left to be said is I've been Fufu, you've been awesome, and hopefully see you next time. Goodbye.